No way.
I think we should probably do intros.
Intros.
We should probably do intros.
Everybody across this beautiful globe and watching or will watch, this is the Usual Tuesday podcast. I am your host, Big Corpse, representing corpsecollection.com. And this is, again, the Usual Tuesday podcast. And I am joined by Save One of Save One Gamings and 0%. My man, the macadamia nut himself, 10K sprint running, fucking big dick having.
I'm not gonna lie, I was taking a shit right now before the show, and I was watching your coffee review on TikTok.
Thank you.
What's up, fellas?
Wait, did I leave you a like? Let me see.
I don't know if you did.
It was literally the last thing I was watching, so you can still.
What's up, Entry
Boy?
Boy? What's up, Toilet Destroyer? How you doing, buddy?
I don't know if you can see yourself.
Let's go.
Literally,
I did.
I'm sorry, guys. I've been posting and ghosting recently. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
Posting and ghosting? What do you mean?
I'll post it and then I'll dip. Oh, here's Will. Hold on,
How you doing,
guys.
buddy? How you doing?
A special
Good to see you,
introduction
man.
because
Thank
we
you, Toilet
have
What up?
Will.
Oh,
What's
dang.
up, Will? We're live, brother. I like your shirt.
Thank you
Well,
so much.
your-
Everyone does.
Your
Very
headset
special.
is massive.
What's
I like it.
what's up with your microphone input?
Is it good? Is it bad?
Oh, there you go. Sit up a little bit. There you go.
Oh, I knew I should have moved it. All right. I guess I'll have to sit close this entire time. Let's see.
I mean, or just bring the microphone to you.
It's not a stand like that, my friend. Oh, well, I'll try. There we go. How's it going?
It's going.
Good, brother.
How you doing, man?
How's it going? I didn't catch the stream what we were all talking about before I so rudely barged in.
We literally just got
Nothing, we're
intros.
just saying hello.
Yeah, we were just finishing our intros. So, Zero. Yeah, you know Zero, correct?
I know Zero
Be
and
safe,
Save
Toilet
One.
Destroyer. Thanks so much for coming by, Ben.
my man,
buddy.
How do you know?
Together.
Oh, okay,
Mhm.
cool. Because I'm trying to catch up on how everybody knows who.
Oh, yeah. These guys actually, funny enough, they mentored me when I worked at the cable company.
Oh,
Oh
sweet.
shit! I forgot we were his mentors, huh?
Yes, sir.
It seems
Damn,
like so
we-
long ago, doesn't it?
Up
I
there on the
forgot.
food
I
chain.
forgot. Yeah, I forgot that we mentored Will. That's crazy. Will, are you no longer working at the cable company anymore?
I had to do the same thing you did, my friend. I had to get out of there. I couldn't answer another phone call from an old person who couldn't read or bother doing basic stuff. I couldn't handle it. It was driving me nuts.
What? Actually, I didn't know that you had left either. I've been working from home, so I haven't been in office, but I did not know this.
I do not thrive in that type of hyper corporate environment. I know that nobody likes it,
Yeah.
but I can't really vibe in a place where like my every move is recorded and the way they do their metrics. Oh my, they would do a weekly coaching session, and like I love how like right off the bat when you first start working there. And by the way, it is kind of a red flag that you start working there with 20 people at a time, and they tell you straight up that they do that every 3 months. That aside, they like warn you straight up when you first start. They're like, oh yeah, by the way, there's going to be a lot of what we call coachings here, but don't worry, they're not bad. But honestly, I dubbed mine the weekly humiliation ritual. So that was like one of the many things, but I started doing some math about like how much I was getting paid versus how much I was sitting in traffic. And also I was, forced to waste an hour every day because of the lunch break, which is fine, I guess. And I was like, wow, I cannot be showing up and taking these kind of phone calls for this kind of money. So I quit 2 days later.
Damn.
Hell yeah!
Good for you.
That's my little monologue there.
Brave man.
All right, well, tell what Will. Besides what you did, how you quit work, just tell us a little bit about yourself, what your ventures are currently, and I think you were starting like something on YouTube, if I'm not mistaken.
So I do really want to channel some creative energy. So right now I'm freelancing. Like I'm trying to help 2 businesses build themselves. So I've like doing like web design. I'm gonna fly out to their locations because they're not local. Do some like actual advertising and like videography, filming stuff I can use to just make them. You've seen those kind of like Instagram reels where it's like contractors and stuff, and they make it fun. That kind of stuff because that's what my buddies are. So I've been making websites. But I want to get my content production off the ground. I've got so many ideas, but I don't know quite yet how to like organize them yet. That's my big. I've got like that writer's block, and I know I just need to like do it because nobody's gonna watch my first videos anyway. But I also don't want to like waste my first video's topics, even though I know I can revisit them later. Like if I get popular, if I somehow blow up, I can just like revisit a topic. Nobody's care. But
you gotta take everything you just said. You gotta take out of your vocabulary. Like nobody wants to watch my videos. If I get big, like you gotta take that shit out of your.
No. I try and keep things real. You know, that's why I'm not like, because it'd be super weird to say I quit my job and I'm trying to become a YouTuber, even though we've had YouTube for 20 years and it is like a viable career path, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think. Okay, Zero didn't freeze. Cool.
No, sorry. I have like a weird box over my face. I don't know what this is.
I was looking.
It's a text box. It's a text box. It's a text box.
Let's go over.
Yeah. So
wait, but I have a question on because you are making YouTube videos now, and I've seen at least one of them, and it was more of just like your POV kind of jamming through.
That is not going to be like what I. That's not like. I mean, that's like what I'm doing right now is kind of like learning. Like I've started streaming on Twitch just to learn like how that works and how the camera setups and stuff works. The POV stuff is like fun. And I think eventually, like, if I got picked up enough, I could get like several hundred views on those because people like putting on like background videos on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen those.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what those are meant to be, but I don't think they quite capture that essence yet. So I need to go back and like every time I watch a YouTube video now, I'm like looking at like how did they make this? Like I'm trying to think of the behind the scenes.
Yeah,
I even went and, like redid my room to try and make it because before it looked like booty cheeks, right?
I like the lighting. Yeah, I like it.
I'll tell you this: you're starting off on the right foot, though. I'll tell you, like when I first started streaming, my shit looked like shit too. Like this is not how my setup normally looked. But same thing, like got brand new furniture, brand new lighting, all like brand new fucking microphone setup, camera setup, all that stuff. So you're in the right direction because visibly it looks nice.
I know.
There's an ask for every seat, though, my brother. There's an ask for every seat. You can literally do karaoke on fucking Twitch, and you can get a following doing that.
For real.
I'm jealous of all your microphones, though.
Zero told me, I was trying to come up with an idea, and Zero agreed.
Sub Gamer Twist, thanks so much for the sub.
Literally sit and read like chapter books on YouTube, and it would probably go viral.
Just making like filmed audiobooks is just the difference being that it's actually like filmed.
Correct.
And I mean, that's the thing about YouTube. You don't even have to be unique. You don't. Nobody's going to like look up a video, watch it, and then like go and look to see if somebody else made a similar video and then critique it like that. Like 20 people can make the same video, but people follow personalities, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure. For the most part, for the people you keep coming back to.
I was going to say for the, because I've watched a couple of your videos, do you have an idea of what the direction or like what's the evolution of you starting to talk to the camera, stuff like that?
I feel like I'm trying, like in my head, and don't think about like a talking head like type, like I don't know. It sounds corny, but like kind of like reacting and stuff. If you guys have seen Drew Gooden, I love the way he does his bedroom content, or Gabby Bell, but mix that up with a bit more like culture wars and like or cultural and political stuff. I wouldn't mind also being like a straight up like talking head, like just to give like a, I don't know, like David Pakman style. If you guys know who that is, Kyle Kalinske. I tried to do a show with my friends, but my friends just don't have it in them. They gave me blue balls because we started planning a 3-person podcast for like 3 weeks. But like our creative differences got to the point where one of them just gave up and the other person was just a ride along anyway, willing to do what we were going to do. So it went from 3 people to 1 person real quick.
All right, I got two things on that. One, stop slamming your desk because every time you do it, it shakes your camera and you can hear it loud as fuck. But 2, it's extremely hard. It's extremely hard to stay consistent when you have other people in doing what you're doing. Like, what episode are we on? 89?
89.
Yeah.
89 episodes. And this was just like kind of a thrown together idea. And luckily, we chose the right people to do it with, and we've been very consistent. But you know, when it comes to doing things with other people, a lot of people's like egos get in the way or attitudes get in the way. Luckily, you know, with the 3 of us, we had done a very good job at like finding the right people to do this with, understanding that it's just a conversation that's happening over the computer. Like nothing has ever like leaked over into the next day. If we ever felt that way, like we immediately send a text message or a phone call to the person and like, hey, I just want to make sure we're good, this, that, and the other. So just be very careful with like getting other people involved in whatever you're going to do. That's like my only 2 cents when it comes to doing stuff with us. That's why we all do our own personal stuff too. on top of this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys, when you guys are first coming up with this, did you guys want it to? Did you have any like? How much time did you prep before you even went live the first time? Just curious. Like, how many collective man hours do you think you spent? Like, even coming up with a stream name, a time to do it. Like, because me and my friends like obsessed
For
over all that
this?
stuff, and then
For this,
yeah, this.
We
Collective of
didn't.
7 seconds and a fucking fart. I don't know. It was like nothing. It was as
we
we
didn't even have the
went.
name.
Yeah,
we didn't even have the name for the first couple episodes.
we like spitballed in a group chat that was like, what do we name it? Like, I think it was some of them was what were
Dude,
some
I
of
was like the Mighty
names?
Queeps, fucking
No,
Dude Cast. I was saying
Something-
some crazy shit.
I feel like something like I want to say something like dirt bags, but or like something
Yeah,
like
there
that.
was there was wild ones.
There was a
bro.
couple of them, and I think eventually we just landed on Usual Tuesdays. And then also,
we're always doing it on Tuesday.
but everything was like, yeah, like Save said, like just thrown together. The reason that we even all three got on a platform was because I had heard a conversation with Save and Corpse, and that conversation got me interested in Corpse. And then I was just like, hey, I was streaming. Let's all have a chat, and that's how we got together. In the first episode, the first unofficial episode was just me like, I'm interested in Corpse. Let me ask him a couple questions. Save was the conduit between us. And then we're like, oh, this is really like cool conversation. So let's just like, if you want to do it next week, I'm down. And it kept happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cool. And that's the other thing too, Will, is like some of the greatest things you don't have to put that much thought into. Like even like before the show, like we were waiting for you, but even before the show, like we sit in the green room and we literally just shoot the shit. Very rarely are we like, what are we going to talk about tonight? What's like the topic? Like, how are we going to keep people engaged? Because there's been many episodes where we just come in here and we have no idea what. Like tonight, obviously we like now we kind of have it down to a science where throughout the week, typically Corpse will keep it very genuine when we're on the shows. Like try not to talk about it at all, so that way no ideas are spilled over and we're not influenced by anything or anyone else. So just, I mean, sometimes you just gotta go with the flow. Something's gonna go viral, and now you have whatever it is that you're gonna do. You know what I mean? So, put some thought into it, and know that you want to be in front of a camera. But sometimes, like, don't put that much thought into it. Just fucking let it flow.
Seriously, I've actually started like one of the things that pushed me into this is, well, I wanted to do it for like 6 years, but haven't had the motivation. But I also quit my job, so now I have time to spend on creative projects, right? Shoot, I lost my train of thought there. I am sorry. I was going to ask though, here's a really silly question, but you know how like literally everybody and their mom started a podcast, you know, especially during COVID, but you know, it's, you know, as time goes on, everyone started a podcast, right? Any of you have any self-consciousness about like posting like, you know, hey, look guys, on my own social media, like the people you went to high school with and stuff? Do you ever feel any self-consciousness about like advertising that you guys run yet another podcast? Because I kind of feel like I'd feel like that. I'm not saying you guys should, but anything like that?
No.
Can I ask how old are you, Will?
I want to ask, how old do I look?
Like maybe like 24, 25-ish, maybe.
Cool. I am 30.
You're 30. So
And a half.
okay. Okay, cool. So dude, right? I'm 32, right? So especially for us, so I think it's a little easier to say like I look at it like I'm almost hitting the point now where the age I was at when I graduated, right, is almost equivalent to the amount of years now, right, to twice that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I've lived twice that length now. Do you get me? So it's like all those people, we've lived a whole nother life since then. A whole nother high school graduation. You get me? Like I don't know if what I'm that time frame is you give me. So like, and I learned this when working with Cisco in the car dealerships. They said, Cause said, if you're not proud of talking about your profession, then it's probably time to find a different profession, right? Like you should probably get a different job if you're not proud of what you're fucking doing, like, you know, or if you don't enjoy it. I enjoy podcasting. I'm proud of what we put out, right? Like, and I think I can talk to a wall if it would look back to me, right? So the gift of gab is one thing I think I have. No, so like, bro, I've lived a whole, what, the dude I went to second period with is gonna look at me weird because I have a podcast now. Dick, we've lived a whole nother life, a whole. So I don't feel that at all.
I mentioned that I probably poisoned the well there by mentioning like the people I went to high school with, because for the most part, like out of my several hundred followers on Instagram, yeah, I've met new people since then. But you know, when you go to school with 1,600 people, I don't like remove friends, so that's still going to be like where the majority of them are. I guess you're kind of right about that, though. It is kind of like I feel like that because the first thing I tested out was like just streaming myself playing video games, mostly chess, but sometimes like a few other ones, and so and especially since I just kind of like up and quit my job to be a freelancer, it seems like I know people don't know that, but in my head, it just feels bad. Like, hey guys, I quit my job and look, I'm now streaming on Twitch to one viewer, you know? So, but that's all in my head, and I totally get that. And like you said, I can talk to a wall.
That was going to be kind of like what I was going to bring up too is, you know, I guess we have a little bit more experience because like I said, we all have our respective, share of like camera time outside of the podcast. Like Zero does his YouTube and TikTok videos, Corpse does his other podcasts and has been dancing on camera for quite some time, and then I've streamed video games for the last 5 years, you know what I mean? So we're all kind of comfortable being in the camera, but a lot of the things that people tell you, like, are you planning on doing live streaming as well, or are you just planning on doing edited stuff?
For the most part, I always envisioned myself doing edited stuff. The reason for that is because I wouldn't want to try and build an audience by just doing live content. I don't know if I have that kind of, I don't know exactly. I've never watched that kind of content too. It's not really my thing. Like I don't go looking. There's one podcast besides your guys's that I ever tune into. And it's like
man,
you know, I'm not joking. Like
it's called the smoking section.
No, but the reason I ask is because you have to understand. So with live streaming, like it's always on, right? Like somebody, and here's why I bring this up, because you said like, would we ever get embarrassed if we were like posting about the podcast on the Instagram story or something?
No, when you started, not now, of course.
Sure. Yeah. When we started, like, no, you know why? Because people are gonna come into my live streams and probably talk shit anyways, or people are like on edited content. People are probably gonna leave you a bullshit ass comment like you don't know what the fuck you're talking to. So I'd much rather hear shit coming from people that I know than people that I don't know. But it gets me prepared for that, and also, who the fuck cares? Like, it's not gonna stop me from doing what I'm gonna do anyways. Why get self-conscious about it and let somebody else ruin a fucking good idea that I have?
Yeah, that's definitely a good way to think about it. By the way, speaking of that, how would I share this among, like, what link would I use? I know because you guys like simulcast, so like, which one's like the main link that you would share if you want to show somebody this?
You can choose anyone. You can use Damien's YouTube stream, or like to watch it live right now. You mean?
Yeah, like do you have a preferred channel? I know you because you guys like do it on multiple channels, right? But
yeah, whatever you want to do it, bro. A viewer is a viewer in our eyes.
Yeah, Punch has a bunch of links. I think because you're casting it to multiple places, and I'm just doing.
How many different places are you? How many accounts and platforms? You're on Twitch and YouTube on multiple accounts.
Twitch, YouTube, 2 Facebook accounts, and Zero's on YouTube. And then I used to stream on YouTube and Facebook as well, but I stopped streaming the podcast. I haven't streamed it in a while.
Cool.
Yeah, we never made it a thing. So we've
talked about it a lot, but we still haven't done it.
A lot. Like we've just never, like, it has never been a pressing issue to be like, oh, everybody go to like Zero's channel, or oh, everybody go to Cisco's channel, or oh, everybody come to Corpse's channel.
Just like
or,
wherever you're watching, just like it.
Wherever you're watching, just keep it pushing. You know what I mean? And yeah. You know, it's just because I don't know, like, honestly, it's just a force of habit just to go live on my StreamYard, like, you know, like there was never ever like a different conversation around that. It's just like, hey, dude, like, it's not,
like, here's the source, and then you guys do whatever the fuck you want with it.
Whatever the fuck, and I always loved it too because, you know, shout out StreamYard, They allow multiple streaming sources, right? Even from the guests, so you guys can also broadcast it to your own personal things as well. You know, I think that's cool. I think I like. Oh, one thing I wanted to say to you about your pals, and if you wanna continue to work with other people in the future, man. Um, I think one thing Zero and Save and myself. I think one, and I don't want to like fucking, ourselves. Yeah, I'm not trying to fucking gas us up right now, but I think we collaborate well in a sense where, even when there has been some kind of issues, right? They're spoken and things are done, right? Whether it's on a one-on-one basis or even kind of like, hey, what's the podcast feeling like right now, guys? Like, what are we doing? We've had those conversations too, and it's tough. It's a little icky because you're like, oh, what do you mean? And even when it's on one-on-one, because sometimes you sit there for a second, you're like, yo, I don't like how I said that, or I don't like how he said that, right? And then next thing we text each other, or there's a call, and it's cool, and everything's copacetic, right? Sometimes there is a 3-day conversation in the podcast thread between me and Damien. Sometimes there's not, and that happens too.
Sometimes like it's heated, and then it's like next day, like, check out John Bellion's song, bro. I love this shit.
Yeah. So that's what we try and tell people all the time. Like, this isn't just on screen like relationships anymore. Like, we do this through text messages, through FaceTime calls, like in person. We do dumb shit. Oh damn! Look, Will is willing to show us his wiener.
You got a big ass wiener.
So yes,
no, she's a tiny one. I actually had somebody in public today be like, "Oh, I had a wiener like that, but it was a little bigger," and I was like, "Yeah, I sure hope so."
Hey.
nice wiener. Huh?
Mine's on the bed sleeping.
That's cute.
I felt bad. I took her up Cowles Mountain, right, and people were noticing that she's noticeably old, and that makes me sad.
Wow.
I had to pick her up.
How old is she?
About 10 now.
Okay. She's got some time. My oldest was 14 before he passed away.
Nice and ripe.
Oh damn, that makes me
Jesus
happy and sad at the same time. It was
the worst day of my life. It was the worst day of my life.
Well, we won't talk about that kind of topic with dogs, because dogs are cool when they're alive. So
yeah.
No, but I keep his urn like right here, so I can see him every single day that I'm sitting here, because he was my best friend in the whole. He was my first dog, my best friend in the whole world. It was a fucking shit day.
I saw that
too. Me and my ex-wife, we split like a couple months before like the inevitable happened with my beloved like pit bull. So, and then she got, the thing you just mentioned, she's got it. So it's like, oof. All right. Well, at least I got this dog. We split the dogs in the divorce, and I guess I got the one that lived a lot longer. And I got the cat, so I win. We tried pets. This is so millennial coded. We tried sharing the cat for a little bit after we split. It was like I got 3 weeks of the cat. She got 1 week of the cat. And after a while, I was like, this is dumb. And the cat probably hates it too. You should get your own cat. And then she got her own cat, and then her cat died. And I'm like, fuck, you really got it raw.
Damn.
Yeah, that's horrible.
I know. She also got stuck with the vet bills too on the way out. So I guess that's what you get for divorcing me at that time. You could have waited 6 months. I don't know. That's on you. I would have paid him, but sorry. Somehow this dog has never.
Tell her not with that attitude.
I was trying not to laugh, but that's so twisted. Like, that's what you get for divorcing me. Like, it's vet bills, dog.
No, it's like it was a fun situation all around. So,
oh man.
Well, those are probably. I'm not gonna lie. I think D said something about this earlier. Those are probably the biggest fucking headphones I've ever seen somebody on a live stream.
Are they open? Are they open back?
Yes, I actually remembered you say that comment, and I didn't want my tism to show, and remember that you said that comment like right as I joined. So these are Audio Technica AD700Xs. They are open back headphones. Nice. They are the complete opposite of noise canceling.
Yeah,
You can hear
I have some
literally
of those.
everything.
Not those.
You could hear my thoughts with those fucking headphones.
Probably could.
I don't recommend them. I had to spend an additional like $30 buying new pads for them because the ones that I guess fit Japanese people's heads were just killer on me, like wouldn't work, and I was upset for the price, right? And then I got a little headphone amp off Amazon for $50, a USB. It's basically just an external sound card with a little amplifier in it. These things sound great. The one reason I wouldn't recommend them for most people, they don't do bass. Open back headphones, they just don't. You need a seal around your ear. But if I ever want something like that, that's where like the Sony's come in, right?
Nice.
Thanks, dude. Audio Technica sponsors this podcast, and you just tanked our whole fucking deal, bro. Thanks.
Yeah, what the fuck? No.
Thanks a lot, dude. No, I'm just kidding. I love Audio Technica, though.
Just lost that fucking Skull Candy sponsorship. God damn it.
I was gonna say,
I love Audio Technica, bro.
I have these Sennheisers. I love these.
Those look nice.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, I'm a bit jealous of all your mics. I don't know who's I don't know. Like that sure looking sexy. So.
Yeah, the Shure is nice.
Sure, if you're gonna spend money on a microphone, get the Shure. This Blue Yeti, I think I've had it for 3 years now. It's gone to shit. It's such a shit mic now.
It sounds it's good. It's
solid.
Nobody would hop on and notice that there's anything wrong with it. I wouldn't.
No. I'm talking about like if I touch this cable, it's like the whole shit turns off.
I had that. When I stare at it too hard, it throws it off.
I think I have that mic. I have a Blue Yeti. Everybody has a Blue Yeti at one point.
Everyone's had a Blue Yeti. I've never had a Blue Yeti, but everybody's.
But do you have the blue? But do you have the blue arm?
I have.
No, I got cheap arm off Amazon, and then I bought nice Elgato arm for my
low profile baby
for my camera.
Fuck Elgato,
I'm using the worst microphone of them all. I've got the little sister to the blue. I've got the blue Snowball.
Snowball? Oh, that's why it sounds like that. Bro, I thought you were using a webcam mic. I'm not even gonna fucking
Snowball
lie.
is thug, fam.
Bro, Snowball is the
$45 special. $45.
A lot of podcasts, bro.
Nothing wrong with the Snowball. Nothing wrong with the
Snowball,
bro.
Snowball users, bro. Let's just give them a real quick.
Really, just round of applause for Blue, man, as a company, just creating these staple
Blue makes good
microphones.
Hey,
they do.
They made podcasts.
Blue, sponsor me. Send me a new Blue Yeti, please.
Blue, Shure, Audio Technica, we got them all.
Audio Technica, I will say this. I like Shure because of they're very user friendly. It seems right. I've never owned one personally. But what it seems like with yours, right? No interface and all this extra fucking hoopla. Bang, high quality, good shit. Audio Technica, I feel like is very good, high quality microphones, right? Their headphones are cool, right? Like I'm not gonna get too hippie on them, but the microphones I really fucking enjoy. And their boom arm too is lasted me a long time. And you guys know I was traveling with my shit, so it's like it's lasted me.
Hell yeah!
So I do enjoy it.
Bro, I'll tell you this: I'll fucking suck dick for a Razer sponsor. Swear to fucking God, I would.
I already know what he's about to bring out right now.
Don't get me worked up like that.
Well, if my mic sounds like, does it sound like noticeable booty cheeks?
It doesn't sound like the worst.
Bro, I'm telling you,
but he's about to bust out the CM28s, one of my most recommended lavalier mics.
Dude, I get worried about lavaliers, bro.
You're hella glitching right now.
You're tweaking.
But I don't know if it's gonna. I mean, actually, I've never tried it myself, but it would be interesting to see the lav mics work on a.
I get worried. My thing with lavaliers, since they're not directly plugged, right? It's all Bluetooth, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Any frequency throw off, you're gonna fuck up your audio. And
wait, am I back? I just need to know if I'm back or not.
Yes, you're back.
You're good. Bro, that was like when the homie is on too many shrooms and the wheels fell off, but then he finally got it back on. He's like, "Wait,
I was just stuck for a second.
I'm back."
I think for most modern lavalier mics though, they're going off of I forget what it's called, but it's like I think it's like 6.2 gigahertz. It's like not pure Bluetooth. It's a different, stronger frequency that you're able to tap into.
Well, let's test it. Can you guys even hear me?
Oh my god,
bro! The CM28s, bro. What am I saying?
So much better.
Most recommended shit I have, bro. Those mics are goated, and they're so
by
like
who?
bang
by
for your
Sony
buck.
or Rode?
Newer.
Wait, bang your bang your fucking fist on the
No,
desk.
that's okay. I found out, okay, because of, here's another quirk about me. I use Firefox because of course I do. I'm weird like that, right? So I go to the settings and this software says, the stream platform says that Firefox doesn't support the noise cancellation that you guys are probably used to, like
No,
everybody
the
else.
noise cancellation sucks on StreamYard,
Yeah.
bro.
Okay, fine.
You could hear it less though.
Better. It just shakes the shit out of your camera, but it's a lot better.
My camera
before it was like, boom. It was like I was at a rave or some shit, bro.
Blood.
So should I just retire? Should I just use this when I game and chill with my friends? Like, is it that much better?
It's
I like
actually
it, yeah.
really fucking
It's
good.
super
It's actually
solid.
really good.
All right. Well, excellent. I'm glad I was able to do that live. Anyway, enough about mics, right?
Who's Mike?
Mike.
Whose mic is it anyways?
You fucking. Hey, that's one of the best shows of all time, by the way. Just saying.
Whose line is it anyways?
Yes, one of the greatest shows of all time.
One of the greatest. I remember, like, it was what ABC Family. It came on like prime time, bro. It was like 6 p.m., 7 p.m. fucking viewership, dude. That's and us more seasoned and cultured gentlemen, unlike our fucking young esteemed colleague here.
Bro, is it on Kai Cenat's stream or not? Because if it's not, then I don't know what the fuck is happening.
Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of this.
I don't know what the fuck.
Wait, what did you say? What did he say?
Is it on Kai Cenat's stream? Because if it's not, then I don't want it.
Boy, you better go ahead and clock this. It's Thursday night. You just finished dinner with your family and your sister and
You think
all
I
the
had
other
dinner with my
siblings.
family at any point in time?
Bro,
in my
D
life?
doesn't know a time without.
We
fucking
grew up
internet.
like real Americans. I'm just kidding.
You mean after I'm done with my Dino Nuggies watching my iPad? Is that what you're talking about? Is that around the
Yes,
time?
exactly.
No,
As long as you know, the Dino
Okay.
Nuggies are always going to be involved.
Okay.
bro. Have you not realized that is not only that is a part of the reason why shows have brought back like a weekly releasing.
I actually, I'm super for weekly releases. I love my girlfriend loves to binge, and we recently watched. I'm gonna give a big shout out. I'm sorry, I'm putting this to a whole different tangent. There's a show on Disney Plus right now called Win or Lose. Beautiful animation, beautiful story. I teared up multiple times on different episodes. Great show. Win or Lose. But we watched that in a span, it's not going to sound like a lot, but of a couple of days, because I was like, all right, a couple episodes, we'll stop. We have to go to bed, whatever. Just prolonging shit. And like, even especially on a weekly basis, you get to catch up with shit on Instagram or whatever your little group is and geek out over the show that you just watched and you guys are all on the same page. That's a beautiful thing versus, bombshell on one day where you watch the whole season and everybody's on different parts and you just got spoiled because you're not as far as the other guy. And that shit sucks.
Did you watch the Mr. Beast thing on?
I tried to, but I just couldn't really.
Bro, this is like kind of random to say. So I downloaded whatever episodes were out when I went to Mexico. And then there's like a town where my dad's from, like 25 minutes away. And then another episode came out. So I went to the town just to download another episode and come back. And then I watched the last episode on the plane.
Oh, you were
I
in it.
bawled my eyes out, bro. I bawled my eyes out at the end of that shit. These people are playing for $5 million for Mr. Beast. Like, you would not think that it's anything like that, bro. I bawled my eyes out, like cried.
That's crazy. Jimmy or Mr. Beast, he has gotten a lot better. Like his YouTube videos, I find myself watching them sometimes. He's gotten a lot better with like story.
Bro, you would watch them when we work together. We haven't worked together in almost a year.
Yeah, but I haven't watched. Like, if I go on Mr. Beast channel, I haven't watched that many episodes or like whatever his videos.
I would go up to Damien's desk and this motherfucker would be on Mr. Beast TikTok.
Wait, what? Say that one more. No, I would never be on Mr. Beast TikTok.
Yeah, the fuck you would.
Also,
all of us
what's
were
up,
like,
Jake?
squirrel. And all of us,
I know we all said we all read the comment because I was like,
glad I wasn't the only one, bro. It was like, who the
hey
fuck-
Jake, I think I seen you looking at some of my Instagram stories. You fucking creep. Like, hit the
Damn.
follow button, dude. I'm watching.
I wanted to touch really quick too on Will's thing about earlier about the whole posting on social media and what other people think. I was gonna say I didn't really chime in because I didn't think it was fair because since middle school I've been doing YouTube. So it was never like a Damien before YouTube, Damien after YouTube, and this is like a weird cringe transition that he's trying to do. It was like that's Damien with like the channel that he posts some shit on. And back then it was hella cringe trying to be a comedian, like comedy skits YouTube. And then it evolved into like a what it is now, but it's always been that. So I've never been able to really experience that like transition period where it was my personal shit and then now it's all my social media shit. You know what I mean? It's always been social media. But at the
Zero doesn't take anything off of his channel, by the way, so you can go back.
You can go back. I've made it like a mental rule to like I've removed one thing from there, but it's hard. It's hard not to sometimes. I don't go back very deliberately.
I put you on game with that one, didn't I? I think we were talking on the podcast. I was like, bro, if I don't like it after a while, I can just go back and delete it.
You could.
Hi, baby. Hey, hold on, guys.
No worries.
I remember the only thing that I ever had removed from YouTube was a fight video I uploaded in high school. It's just the stupidest, 2010 cell phone video of like a high school fight that went nowhere, and I had that on my YouTube just because where else are you gonna host a file like that in 2010, right? And
Yeah.
I remember looking into it years later. I was like, I got not like a strike for that, but it just got casually completely removed from YouTube. I couldn't even go back and watch it.
Oh, wow.
I just use my YouTube channel. If you were to look right now, only has one produced video, and the rest of it's just little editing projects I've done, as well as game clips for when I've got a pentakill or something. I'll probably just leave it up there. Just
Halo talk, I like it.
I was talking Smite.
I have a weird.
What the fuck?
I have a weird thing with. Everybody wants super high profile produced, videos. And then you also see these group of people now as well who just want the in real life, right? They want that direct POV of what you're doing, right? And so I think, the pendulum always swings, right? And so I just think whatever you're feeling at the time, just make it exactly that way, right? Make it exactly the way you want to make it at that moment. I can't remember who it is. I think it's Rick Rubin talks about how when ideas are alive in a sense where if an idea passes through my brain, if I don't act on it, then it's going to pass through me and somebody else has a chance to have that same idea and they do something about it, right? And it's so metaphysical and it's such a stretch, but I'm willing to believe it. So I
remember watched Rick Rubin when he's in the studio.
Give me 1 second.
With his fucking. Do you know who Rick Rubin is? Do either one of you guys know who Rick Rubin is?
I don't know who Rick Rubin is.
Or he's this old ass white music producer who basically goes in. There's clips of him with Pharrell and Jay-Z, and bro, he'll go in with shorts, and he looks like Santa Claus. Bro.
Benny Blanco. Benny Blanco, I feel like is well, I don't know what you're about to say. Keep going.
Yeah, but he's Benny Blanco-esque. But what he'll do is he'll lay on the couch with his bare feet and just lay back and just listen to the music to make sure all the sounds and everything sound right. What the fuck just happened to Corpse?
I have no idea. Hopefully he's all right.
Corpse?
There we go.
Okay.
The chair moved.
I think that's I happen to think that's true because I feel like I've definitely had it where I'm on my content hiatus, I'm just not making as much as I want to, and always laughing, something happened, and then I'll have this idea of some video. I'm like, fuck, that'd be sick to see, and then I don't do anything about it, and then a month later I see the video on my feed and I'm like, bro, fuck, I had this exact same idea and I just didn't do anything about it. And look at, they're fucking killing it. They're doing so much with what I already knew I could have done, you know what I mean? In my own way, in a different way, but yeah.
It's I really wish I didn't have a super clacky keyboard so I can Google who this general quote goes to, and I'm gonna butcher it. But some famous person was like, X amount of people have talent, but then only like 5% of people have talent, but then only 5% of those 5% even like act on it. And so like if you have some sort of talent, it's not even that hard to like kind of stand out as long as you actually act on it. It's just like consistency. And just like any business venture, the very first beginning is always a grind that makes you feel like you're like doomed to failure, because you have to lay a foundation that like doesn't get you paid, and you might even be spending a lot of money on it to try and get it off the ground. And that's the very first part of that consistency is like the most killer. Maybe even like it's kind of like the gym in that regard. Not sure. I like analogies though.
Yeah, I think it's a good analogy.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to convince my friend. He wants to start a window washing business, and I'm like, you gotta pay me to make you the website, man. I know it's kind of expensive, but not really. You gotta spend money to make money. There's a lot of sayings that are just kind of true.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Trust me, bro. I'm in marketing. I tell people that every day.
What made you? Did you actively look to get out of Spectrum? Like, just like I want like 30 seconds on that. Like, did you grow to hate it like I did?
I just left. I quit.
Exactly, but like
No, I looked at Damien and I said, "Today's the day that I'm gonna quit."
I think
really.
Quit.
Okay. Why? What was
you were on leave, and I think we talked about it. And I was like, "You gonna go
back?" I said, "I'm never gonna come back to this place."
Yeah, he did.
Okay, but I want to know.
I'm not coming back.
That's a strong emotion. I want to know what inspired that. Like, why?
I'm not a fan of favoritism. I'm not a fan of a job where tenure is what moves you up.
I feel like
I believe if you have tenure, that's one thing. But if you if you're a leader, then you should stand out and be a leader. And they don't look for those types of qualities at that place. It's all tenure and who kisses the most dick. And I don't kiss dick.
You know what really pissed me off is how there was a lunch thief going on there. Probably still is. I don't know, because they didn't give a shit about doing anything about that lunch thief. And I'm like, I keep complaining to my boss. I'm like, what do you expect me to do? The economy looks like this. Fast food is like $15 to get a sandwich, and I want to bring my food to work. And if I get my food stolen, then what the fuck? And that was just one of many things. I was like, yeah, dude, they don't. I also looked at their stock, and I was like, wow, their stock has been killing it. Let me take a look at my paycheck. Oh.
Well, they just did that merger with Cox too, so that's going to be
no.
huge.
That hasn't even happened yet. That's just an announcement. That hasn't been approved. I mean, that's huge, and I don't like it if true. I hope that the FCC has some balls, and there's no way that's actually it's weird. It's a mixed bag, because they did say that if it happens, they're gonna onshore all the jobs. Like, I guess Cox uses for overseas, like Indian call centers or something, and if this deal goes through, then a bunch more people get to go work in the call center mines in America. So I do view that as a positive, but I view lack of like just all that more people having less of a choice in their like critical, business that they basically are forced to do business with. I don't know. I'm a little bit more pro-consumer than that, so I hope it doesn't get. I don't know. Hope it doesn't go through.
Yeah.
But that was another thing. Like, I was tired of sitting in traffic as well. Like, I work from home now. Like, fuck. I don't. Yeah. I don't have to do anything. I just work from home. I don't have to go anywhere.
Our traffic made me want to like have a fake revolver that I could just leave on my passenger seat to pretend to like shoot myself in the head while I'm sitting there for an hour and a half to go 13 miles every day to a job that made me feel like a clown. I would want to run for mayor of San Diego I would just be a single issue politician. Fix the traffic by any means necessary. How can you call this America's finest city when I'm sitting there for an hour and a half to go 13 miles every day? That is unacceptable.
We need what is it called? The Autobahn? What is that one freeway where it's like hella
Autobahn
lanes? And on the very left, you have fucking F1 race cars going 700 miles per hour.
Yeah.
Yes,
Here's my real ideas, because you can't even go 70 on the highway. Like, there's no room. That's not the problem. You could, there's no room to go. It's gridlock, right? I want there to be more. I know this sounds like super hippie, but I would have used a bike lane like along the highway. They have it along the Highway 8, but not along the 805. So I couldn't bike to work or use my e-scooter or anything to get to work. I would also put up billboards. I don't know why the state doesn't do this already, teaching people how to merge and stuff, and like what causes, like, I don't know, little tips that just like help with traffic.
Nobody would
I don't know why they don't try that.
billboards. But that is a good initiative.
I don't know.
Have my vote.
I hate it so much that's my strong opinion, but I'll lay it to rest.
Word.
So you're thinking about doing some of your own work, doing content like creation for yourself, other businesses, and like what would you say in like 10 years time, like where are you? You know what I mean? Like where are you? What is the operation at that time? Like have you thought that far out yet, or is it still like a little more in its infancy of ideas?
That's an interesting question, because it's like if you get good at a YouTuber, you're just, I mean, unless you build a business and like start hiring editors and videographers and stuff, I mean, that would be cool, but I don't have like production value type creative ideas. I'm more just, I don't know. You know how professional like some shows are, and I'm not saying I like these guys' politics at all, but do you guys know how professional like Ben Shapiro and the Timcast is and JRE?
Yeah,
That would be amazing. Like how professional those are. Like ignore their politics. Like I'm not really. I don't watch those shows, but I've seen like their sets.
Yeah, their sets are nice.
They've got a Jamie,
trust
right?
me, we've talked about having a set like that.
Yeah, one day. Yeah, you know.
Are you guys all relatively close in like geographic?
No.
Okay.
Mm.
Ooh, unfortunate. Yeah, same thing with me and my buddies. That was another thing that made it hard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's 200 miles that splits us.
Yeah, now I got to go down there because we did a halfway trip in LA, and then you guys came up here, so now I got to go down there.
Yeah, that would be sick. But
All it needs is like a spare room. I don't, but like even getting one of those down here in the big city
it's
is
another 1,800.
just no. You would need not another. Well, maybe, but what there's like
room.
you wouldn't need. You could rent like an office. I saw one the other day for like 500. In Mission Valley.
Yeah, but you can't sleep there.
I could just sleep. I could just take a nap.
You can't sleep there. They'll tell you a lot of the things.
Why
like,
are you trying to sleep there? I'm talking about a podcast. Oh well, I mean,
You said extra room.
No, I
thought you
think
meant
he's
to
just
sleep
talking
in.
about like production. He's talking about like
yeah, like that's
oh,
studio.
a lot of the YouTubers I know, even the small ones. Like one of the smaller tech guys I follow. I mean, he's in Wisconsin and not even like the city, so it was easier for him. But he just rented a little small office space to start filming stuff because he needed a bit more space, but he wasn't gonna move for that, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what makes it hard, though. Like, I think, especially podcasters, right, and content creators have reached a unique position where you have guys who are working and living in like Milwaukee, right? Piece of shit fucking town. Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Minneapolis, like, you know, like somewhere in
Corpse
St.
always
Paul,
has a bullet for somebody, bro. This
like
motherfucker
St.
always
Paul's,
has-
Minnesota, somewhere in the fucking sticks, right? Like somewhere just bullshit. And like
Somebody's hometown, like their whole world is there.
Listen, if you lived in Ramsey, Minnesota, you would understand what I'm saying, and I'm
You're
pretty
like-
sure they agree. Listen,
Like shit on my shoe, scraped on the floor, bullshit.
what I
Anyway.
will say is that they're hardworking gentlemen out there, right? There's some hardworking
Fair
guys
enough.
and gals,
I
right?
was gonna say, and women. Let's not forget the women today.
Because we know that I fucking exclude them exclusively. I think that there's a unique balance that they can find where their money goes, I think, a little further, right? And if they have the aspirations to be a podcaster or something like that, they, you know, a lot of those dudes are living with an extra bedroom in their house. They can afford that, right? Like they can afford to have the little shed in their actual plot of land that they're living on. You know what I mean? So it's like, damn, bro, like if you're able to do an online podcast like this, and if you can really get it to fucking crack, bro, you got it going on in your spot in the fucking sticks of Ramsey or way
You
out
just need
here.
an ADU. Anywhere, you just need a little
Honestly,
ADU.
But bro, in California, that's so hard.
I know. You've got in California, you've got the people who seem to have made it on the appearance level, like the TikTok content, creator houses where you've got like, I don't know how many deep all living. Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one of the videos
It's
about
like
that in a
16
while.
in a mansion.
Yeah. Well, bro, that's one thing, you know, I'm glad at least the UTP, we've never had any kind of issue with like Like, bro, we're
Bless you.
recording from our bless you. We're recording from our living rooms and our bedrooms, and me for like 8 months I was recording out of a fucking hotel room, so I think when people work with what they got and you do it exactly the way you want to do it, it works out. It always works out.
And I think like that's kind of like why we haven't. I said like 5 times right there. I think that's one of the main reasons we haven't really ever pushed for like a in-person place where we can do it, because this is kind of our staple if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of podcasts are live, and not a lot of podcasts are filmed in different locations. Like everybody filming at a different location.
Not a lot of podcasts are live. Is that that's? I mean, like I said, I don't really watch a lot. My favorite one is live. Sometimes I don't watch it live.
There's a good amount of live podcasts. Yeah,
I would say that there's more recorded podcasts than live, though, is what I'm saying.
But does a recorded when does a recorded podcast become a video essay? Like, how much editing? I guess. Like,
well, I think video essays are real edited, and also most video essays, I would say maybe all video essays are like extremely researched, where podcast is a lot of, in my opinion, very like conversational, where I think like video essays, there's a very like definitive line of what that is.
So there's like the super official podcasts. If you ever go on Apple Podcasts, like in their app for it, they have all these like super official ones. I listened to this true crime one, and it was just overproduced. Like, I don't know if you've heard those genres of them.
There's
this is a lot more. I like the free form a lot more.
Yeah,
with a little bit of direction.
There's one of my favorite like horror content creators is like Nexpo, and Nexpo created something called The Night Shift or something like that. He made like a podcast, but it's very researched horror, like true crime stuff. And I don't like things like that. I'd rather watch a video about stuff like that. And so, yeah, I wouldn't call that a podcast. I'd call that like some sort of true crime. I don't know, like storytelling or some sort of like, video essay. Or I guess
but it's listed as a podcast though.
Yeah, audio essay. But I watch a lot of things. I watch a lot of like YouTube videos as podcasts almost. Like I'll pop it in the car, like Nexpo, or like I don't know, different videos that are like really long form. Destiny. I'll watch
Destiny.
I'll watch a lot of different people, just long form.
I like YouTube because I've been a YouTube subscriber before it was called Premium. Like, it actually still says YouTube Red when I go to manage my subscriptions on my Google account.
Okay, grandfathered.
That's kind of interesting that it still gives me the YouTube Red logo. Like, that's what it says I'm paying for, which is interesting.
That is.
It's weird. Like, why you? Well, it's like, okay, cool, you grandfathered the name, but not the price. So big whoop, right?
Yeah.
So thanks for that little Easter egg. But what I do is I mostly put on like YouTube videos that don't really require watching.
Yeah.
And I'll just like, especially when I was in that traffic, keeps coming back to it. Just take my phone, and I wouldn't watch that. But I turn the screen off because that's one of the features you pay for, right? You have to pay for that.
Yeah.
But things that are partially meant to be watched, but not really. Like, I'm not going to watch like a car video, but I'll listen to like a car podcast, right? That still has like some images on screen. I don't need to see those. I like that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. Like I watch a lot of reviews and stuff like that, just because it's all, I just want to know about something.
Yeah. The biggest tech podcast, I think, I don't know if MKB has one, but the WAN show.
Yeah. Waveform.
I'll definitely listen to that one, just audio only.
Yeah,
but I don't actually seek out podcasts.
I think the WAN show is live. No,
it is live. Yeah. They do clips.
Interesting.
It's funny. Linus told a story how he didn't want to do clips. He didn't think it was necessary, and then that ended up being the thing that gets their show the most exposure and views. Is when they cut it down into little segments. I can totally get that, because otherwise, in a 3-hour long stream, I'm not going to watch that whole thing. So I want to get to the parts that I think I want to watch, right?
Yeah. I watch MKBHD has one called The Waveform, and their main podcast channel is, I think, just as big or maybe smaller than their clips channel for the Waveform podcast, which I thought was crazy. I was like, what the fuck? That's insane.
I always, when it comes to this kind of topic, I always feel like Michael Scott when he's like confessing to his workplace sins when he says that when he discovered YouTube, he didn't work for 5 days. There's just so much stuff to watch,
Yeah.
like so much
Yeah.
good stuff. You could live 3 lifetimes just watching content, watching movies, watching TV shows, and it still wouldn't be enough. There's so much good stuff out there. It's insane.
It's crazy.
And yeah, well, people will complain that like, you know, this or that that's coming out nowadays is no good, but we've got such a backlog of stuff that's good, you know. So I haven't even heard of Waveform, right? And it's, you know, like you said, popular as hell.
I think that there is an actual statistic of there's more there's equivalent of recorded content as there has been time on Earth, like time on recorded Earth or some shit like that. It's crazy. It's a crazy number. It's something nuts, and I don't know how they came up with that, but there's a lot. And YouTube's our friend, people. I think we need to start using that a little more to our advantage.
I don't know what the number is, but I've always heard that there was like every single, I don't know if every single day or I have the numbers all jumbled up, but there's so much content. There's like, I want to say like millions of hours, obviously a day, uploaded to YouTube all the time, every day.
Yeah, it's something like if you added up all the time on every single recorded YouTube video and added it together, it would go back to like 1 AD. Like
Right.
if you took all that time and went backwards, like what the fuck? Like how do you even come up with that? Like how do you come up with that? And how is that possible? That doesn't
like
sound possible.
In like the before times, right? It's like if there was a single library that somehow could distribute to everybody on Earth that had to accept anything, almost anything that people submitted, and like also share that with anybody else who wanted to look at it, and like submitting an unlimited amount of books. Like I've, you know, just me, a random guy, I just put like an hour-long video on YouTube. They're storing that thing and making it available. That's not free, and I mean, I love it. The first YouTube video ever was filmed right down the street from my house or apartment. Sorry, I don't have a house.
Really? Wait, wasn't
Yeah,
that
San Diego Zoo? San Diego
Yeah.
Zoo.
Oh,
I live by the San Diego Zoo. Come find me in this dense urban
was gonna
city,
say-
right? You know.
But that's cool. Yeah, I didn't know that, but I didn't know that you lived there. That's crazy.
I have my landlord is the coolest. He doesn't raise my rent. Shout out to
Nice.
Aldrin, represent.
Based.
So
Gang.
Based
yeah,
on
coolest landlord ever. It's not like some big building group or something that's running spreadsheets. Like I love this guy. On National Landlord Appreciation Day, I tip 20%. Right? That's a joke, but yeah, it's chill. So I'm like trapped here because like nowhere else you can get rent like cheap. It sucks.
yeah. Yeah, it is unfortunate.
Yeah, San Diego was always like a dream place for me to go live, man. I love San Diego, Carlsbad, that whole area, but Cali's just mad expensive right now, bro. It's so much.
Yeah, it's mad expensive.
Like I remember living in the apartment, it was like, hey, yo, like I think $2,400 for a 1-bedroom apartment is fucking crazy, you know. And it's like nothing's showing any signs of that slowing down.
Yeah,
At all.
Like, and I don't even understand how they write. Like, I don't understand like how. I like in Cali, right? I remember seeing the thing on the voters paper about like rent control. Like, what do you mean, B? Like, what? Like, why are we even voting on this? This should be a no fucking brainer. Like, y'all need to knock it off, dog. Like, there's no way. I don't understand.
Bat, knock it off. No.
Yeah.
The problem is, land is collectible here because most places don't want to become miniature New York cities, which is like kind of what you would need, sort of. Like it wouldn't get you the American dream of everybody having like a nice white picket fence single family home, but the simple fact is there is affordable housing, but it's where nobody wants to live, right? And now if you have a home here, it's like a collector's item. So you're gonna let it get bulldozed to build a 5-6 story whatever, so I unfortunately don't think that there's really any way of solving it, because so many people's money is tied up in the real estate market that if it were to ever take a haircut in value, which is what would happen if it became affordable, right? People would be up in arms. So I don't really think it's going to happen too much. We're only seeing it in like El Paso or one of the Texas cities where they just won't stop building apartments. Like rent has actually gone down there because they won't stop building apartments, but they've got endless Texas to build it out into. So
yeah, they have so much land to build out there.
Yeah, won't be doing that here, so it's going to be expensive here forever.
Shout out El Paso.
Bro, I remember driving in Texas and literally not having like signal on my phone for a whole like 2 hours. Like I remember when the music turned back on, I was like kind of like vibe into the like like vibe into that joint, and then I was like, wait, the music. Like it's back on. Oh shit, it's back on. Like, yeah, hey, fucking yo, bro. Like, it's been forever, dear God. Like, thank you. Thank you.
The kind of drive where there's signs that warn you need to get gas before you start going through that section.
Yeah.
Last gas station for 70 miles.
No, like 200 miles. Like 200 miles is the last stop.
No.
Yeah, there's certain cars that can't make those trips that you could go out and buy. I find that kind of funny. They're usually electric, but there's one on in Utah when you drive to like Denver, where it's like over 100 miles of nothing, no gas stations or anything.
No. Oh, it's
just crazy how huge it is here, but it's so beautiful. Everybody should do that drive at least once. Drive just west on I-70, I think, through like Vegas, through the mountains. Don't do it when it's snowy if you don't have experience with snow, because you'll die. Like that's some scary shits right there. Driving through those, you go all the way up the mountains, then the Continental Divide. You go down the mountains. It's all snowy. I've seen like cars like over the guardrails as I'm going down. Like it's not for. It's like worse than when it rains in San Diego.
Yeah.
Nobody.
What's the furthest you've driven?
That's it. I've done that drive many times, to the point where my friends kept saying I should just become a trucker, and I was like, hell no.
Sometimes people be vlogging as their truckers. Sometimes it's like, damn, that shit looks kind of sick. Looks kind of cool, but they're gone for a long time.
Long time, baby.
I would be a short haul trucker. I would do the short hauls, but I don't think that's where the money is.
No.
Yeah.
It's the long hauls.
It would be in the vlogging though, if you think about it.
Yeah, the vlogs would be 6 day in the life of a trucker. That's a sick vlog.
The whole thing is like editing is such a pain in the butt. I don't know how much you guys mess around with editing, but it takes so much time. It's way longer than like recording.
That's the only guy that does
I literally spent a video is coming out tomorrow, and I spent for the first 7 seconds of this video probably a good 45 minutes figuring out all the sound. I've started to love doing more sound design. And I made an entire, I love how it came out though. It's like an entire sound design against like the iPhone's, what is it called? There was a WWDC. There was a whole like presentation of the iPhone's next generation of iOS. And they did a beautiful like introduction of the iPhone and reintroduced, I guess, what is now the new design language. And I did a whole like sound redesign of what they did. I think it came out sick, but we'll see how people appreciate it, or just fast forward through the first 7 seconds.
No, I think that's like why would people naturally want to do that? I hope they don't. That's like where you capture their attention. So if anything, I think that was a good time investment. Maybe you should, but if does it have like any sort of warning? Like you ever seen like any sort of videos where it's like, hey, for the best experience, put some headphones on or something, right? Because
no, I haven't, but I tend not to do stuff like that because although it is, I think, a good forewarning, I just, like me personally.
Maybe just a little at the bottom of this, if it's that, because, some people are just, the way some people watch content, is just like on, a phone like this.
Yeah.
So they might not even notice, right? So that would be kind of unfortunate.
I think the people who will notice, and the people who never watch content like that, it's not for them. You know what I mean? I just loved doing it and putting my time in there, and I loved it.
I don't mean to deride too much, but I will say, like, when I saw your last upload, just like the 10K that you did, I actually did pick up on that because I don't remember if I was listening to it through headphones or not, but I still picked up that it had like really good audio. So like, were you like learning like your last video you uploaded? Were you like testing that out then? Because you said you're just getting into that.
No, funny enough, on 0%, I don't do much editing. That is like my escape of like, fuck, I don't have to like do sound design. I don't have to do music. I don't really have to do anything. It's just me and like a camera or me and like the live stream or whatever. 0% is truly where I put 0% effort into this shit and put it up there. The macadamia nut, or that's like a tech production channel. Yeah. 0% is just like, if you like it, I mean, I appreciate you, but like, this is really like the shit that I should be throwing out.
I didn't know that you had like I didn't know you had a channel you cared about more than that. Cause like, I just saw that and I was like, wow, this looks pretty good.
I appreciate it.
Well,
yeah. You guys should do a TikTok together, like a collab TikTok, and get Will off the ground.
Yeah.
I was going to ask this dude for some help with DaVinci Resolve because every time I watch a YouTube video on this, it assumes I've already like went through and watched other YouTube videos or like know how to do certain things like they're obvious, and then I get stuck because the video I'm watching with what I'm trying to do assumes I know something, right? So I have to I have to like spiderweb throughout like all these tutorial videos, which is a good way of learning. And of course, ChatGPT helps as well. Of course, it's kind of to a scary degree sometimes. You can just describe it what you're looking at in a way like an old person would to tech support, and it will still help you.
No, ChatGPT has evolved a lot. It's nice.
Nobody does homework now.
We'll definitely chat about it. If you need any help, you let me know. I was gonna say, I know for the first half of this podcast we wanted to have you as a guest, but second,
I did realize it got to an hour.
No, you're good. I loved it. Sorry for the call.
Man. Dude, super dope having you on, bro. And I myself wish you like, I wish you the best of luck, right? And dude, I really hope that you lean into yourself when it comes to like whatever ideas that you have, like just pursue them. Pursue them in whatever capacity that you feel is fit, and it'll work out exactly as it's supposed to.
Yeah, fuck them.
All right,
fuck them. Don't be scared to post your shit. Post everything and anything, something will stick, and that's what you go with. Before you head out, Will, let the people know what you're working on and where they could find you at.
Okay. Look up the Will Gerald Show if you want. I think the next video I have is going to be a video on how, like, every time you see a news article for somebody who gets punished for something, it's just random. I feel like every time like a judge hands out a punishment, they just go like spin the wheel of fortune wheel, and that's what you get, right? Because there's people who like jaywalk with life sentence, and people who like murdered somebody but they had some weird reason and they get probation, right? All sorts of like crazy headlines like that, and that's probably where I'm going to go next because I feel like I just see an example about that on social media like once a day.
That'd be cool to see, and your like take on it and everything. I was gonna say just get your reps in and like get posting, talk to the camera, be super comfy, but that's the only way to get good. That's the only way to like, and I feel like anytime I step away and then come back to like the more production value stuff, it feels rusty. Like I got to get back into like, got to get back into the gym and, get my reps in again and build up that endurance and that confidence again. It just takes a little bit of time.
Honestly, even just seeing like, people I worked with like that have, done it like this, and you have like a nice looking stream and stuff. It's like, oh, okay. Why the only thing stopping me from doing something similar or creative is just doing it right. Yeah. So with that being said, I will let you guys get on with your stream, and I'm going to go ahead and get some water.
Alrighty.
Take care,
brother. Be safe, buddy.
Take care, brother.
And thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, brother. I hope he succeeds, man. I hope he does.
I hope he wins.
I'm excited to see what kind of content he makes, man. We'll see.
Round of applause.
Here we go.
Time to get unhinged, boys. Just kidding.
And Damien's pulling his dick out.
Yep, pulling my dick out.
I can't believe that young man showed us his wiener.
Right off rip, bro. He panned down. Nobody asked.
The first time.
That was good.
Yeah, that was good. That's aggressive. I like it.
Assertive.
Very assertive. He had to apply his dominance.
But How are you, man? Somebody had a topic. What's the topic?
Oh,
I'm gonna have to stretch for this one.
so which
Gave us
one?
a juicy ass one.
Well, there was two. There was two I knew that you liked. Which one which one were you thinking more? Because
The first one,
and
and then we can get into the second one.
because yeah, I was thinking about both of them kind of like in line with each other. You know what I'm saying? And so it was.
Even better.
Do we like? Hold on, I want to read it word for word. Sorry.
I thought this man grabbed a magnifying glass for a second. I
As
was about to say, Corpse, you showing your age, dog.
As long as he doesn't hit us with one of these.
Bifocal head ass.
My dad did that the other day. I was like, damn, bro, it's getting old. Fuck.
That's
Is
what
it
you
a-
have to look forward to.
Is it a good or a bad thing to teach children the consequences associated with certain actions?
Feel like
Read it again.
Is it a good or bad thing to teach our children the consequences associated with certain actions?
All right. So where did the premise of this question come from? Is what I'm interested in.
So I was speaking with someone, matter of fact, a coworker of mine who watches the pod, and he goes, hey, you know, that he was listening to our discussion about chastity, and I was like, oh, and I was telling him, I was like, there was a second, like, I wasn't able to wrap my brain around what Cisco was asking me. Like, I just, and
It got kind of unhinged, though. It did get kind of unhinged.
it's
But I
like,
knew
and I know, and I get, like, but it was so, and I was like, and I was telling him, I was like, what? I was like, I just don't understand I just don't understand how that question can be posed, right? Like, because these things, even if, like, because these things don't happen in a perfect world, you know what I'm saying? I was like, and I think there's a problem in that, because even when you look up,
thank you so much, Will. Thank you so
just
much for being a part of the
ridiculous
stream and the podcast for
sex
the amount of time
minus
that you
all
did,
the
buddy.
bullshit
We appreciate
should
you.
be, you know, minus the psychological things, right? Even if you could remove that, should be a wonderful experience. Hence, I think, to me, something like that, right, is good, because you get through all the feats, right? You're a good person, you're healthy, you you do all the right things, and boom, crescendo is this moment, pow, right? I've never been taught that moment, right, without the consequences associated with it. Like sex. Sex gets people pregnant. Oh, sex gets you diseases. Oh, sex leads to X, Y, and Z and X, Y, and Z. I've never been like smoking weed. Smoking weed's fucking great. Smoking weed is fucking great.
It's pretty
But
awesome.
I was never taught about it without the consequences of smoking weed associated with it. Same thing with drinking. Same thing with staying up late. Same thing with not doing my homework. How important was doing homework?
Probably actually not that important.
Really not, like, net of life.
Wait, no,
Not-
actually,
we're teaching our children.
it's
It's very important.
It's actually probably realistically pretty important, because you get the repetitive, like, you use the knowledge not just on tests. It actually gives you, like, okay, like understand why you're understanding this, right? Like, kind of. No?
Yeah, but you don't realize that
No.
until you're an adult.
Oh
You
yeah,
know
of
what I mean?
course. Like, what's the saying? Like, time is wasted on the youth. Like, yeah, we're dumb as fuck when we're young, and we don't. And then when you're like older, you're like, oh fuck, I should have read the books, bro. I should have done the homework. I'm missing so much shit that would have been so beneficial.
There's not been one moment where I'm like, damn, I wish, like, I would have just turned in that one other piece of homework. Do I wish I would have stayed in school and pursued school?
Yeah, but
That's
that's
a
different.
little
But it's different, right? No. What Damien's trying to explain is, like, the repetition of turning in homework, like going home and doing homework on Monday, Tuesday,
getting
Wednesday,
your reps
Thursday,
in,
making sure that it's in your bag on Friday to turn it in on Friday. You know what I mean? It's the same thing as when it's the same thing as when you're on top of that house and you're like, okay, did I put this nut in correctly? Is this bolt you screwed in properly? Is this doing this? Did I hit this in the right place? Check.
Am I latched in safety wise so that way I don't fall off this fucking building?
So we're learning those things. Yeah. We're learning that. So okay, so just to kind of go in the direction of what you're saying, I think there is a lot of times where consequences should be taught. There should be things that we teach what the consequence is, but I think it's more important to give the knowledge that there is a consequence, because there's consequences for everything, and some of the consequences could be different, right? For instance, Peanut in baseball, the motherfucker don't learn how to catch a ball, it's gonna hit him in the face.
Absolutely.
Consequence is you didn't learn how. The consequence is getting hit in the face. Like, but that's the thing, but because it goes a lot deeper than that. If you really, really think about it, there's a lot of decisions that we make on a day-to-day basis, right? I ate some super spicy ass noodles, not thinking that my ass was going to be on fire before the podcast. I didn't think about that shit. So how do you teach that kind of stuff? You know what I mean? You can't teach every single consequence, but you need to teach that there is consequences. Like I get where the premise of the conversation came up when it comes to the sex thing. I think that I don't think that it's necessarily a consequence of the action. It's just the knowledge of what can happen. Because if you teach it as a consequence, you're basically saying like, this is what happens every time you have sex.
Yes. And that's where, even listening back to the podcast, I was listening to that, I was like, damn, like, in a world where I want my children to feel safe, they will eventually understand that like mommy and daddy did that to make them. And
exactly.
So it's kind of like, do I want to teach this perpetual fear of what it is, right? But at the same time, like, and I mean, God forbid people think I'm a fucking right-wing goddamn extremist and I don't want to teach my kids sex education. Like, you know, like.
I mean, wait, hold on, because last week you're like, I'm not teaching them that shit. Stay away. Look, and then if your fucking hell freezes over, this is what you do. I am still going to teach them abstinence. I'm still going to teach them all the other things, right? But I think that there is a certain, there's never been a thing beside, like, even I think sex, just the whole sex talk, right, was like the first thing I could really ever think of. But even when I trek through it, it's like, damn, smoking weed, it's taught the same. It was taught to me the same way. Like, it's bad. It's a gateway drug. It's just going to make you lazy and stupid and and then there's like, okay. And it's like, I think a problem, it's not even as much as like, it's not like I want sex to be okay, right? Or smoking weed to be okay. I don't want to use the sex thing because that one's still like gross to think of.
What about your kids having sex?
No, I
don't want to think about this either. By the way, we can stay away from this topic. That's fine.
But what I'll say, like, let's say smoking weed, right? Because that becomes drastically different for us dads and moms out there in the world, right?
Yeah, like you're an avid weed smoker. Like, are you cool with your kids smoking weed?
No,
I wouldn't be either.
No, once they're old enough to be responsible for themselves, yeah. Right, you're not doing it with my money. You could do it with your money.
I'm buying it with my money,
not my money. Get your ass up. Go get you a fucking job. Go get you all that shit. Get your own shit going, and then we could talk, bro. Because you're taking your own responsibility on, right? Like, I can't crucify you for sins that I'm doing, right? It'd definitely be different.
Wouldn't you? Okay, so let me play a little devil's advocate for a second. Wouldn't you want to know, like, where their weed is coming from?
Absolutely.
Wouldn't you want to know, like, who they're getting their weed from, who they're smoking weed with, who they're doing these actions with?
At least in California, if they're not getting it from a dispensary, that's crazy. No.
Well, what if they're 16?
I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's put it like this.
That's underage. It's illegal.
Like this.
How old were you the first time you ever smoked weed?
I was 18.
Well, you're square.
Actually, I think I was 18. Yeah, actually.
I was in elementary school, bro.
I was 12.
I was 18, but the state that I was in, it wasn't legal, to be fair. But
do you see what I'm saying, though? Do you see what I'm saying, though? Like, okay, so if that's the case, would you not rather your kid smoke weed with you so you know where they're at, they're safe, no DUIs are in the place?
High on the couch.
I'll put it to you like
this, or maybe not even with you per se. But
no,
I know.
I just
in the garage at the crib or something.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
come be in the garage.
That's
you
the
and your
same,
buddies. Listen, if I catch weed in his pocket, I ain't stupid no more, right? We ain't gonna play dumb. You and your buddies come spend the fucking night. You guys can hang out in the garage. I'll put a TV out there, smoke some dro.
Wait, is it belt to ass if you found weed in the pocket, though?
I think I fuck him up the first time, and then after that, it's like whatever, right? Like you're gonna take this first one.
How do you wait? How do you whoop him and then be like, listen, garage is open?
Because you're not being honest. Because you're not being truthful. You're not being truthful.
And you fucked up. You got caught.
Yeah, you try to hide the shit in my crib.
Because back
what if
back
he was about to tell you?
Men,
no, what if he was
you didn't
tell me.
I caught you before you told me. So
oh, this is your first sack of weed? Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Like,
fuck no,
expertly hidden.
No,
in the sock.
But but there's also an instance too where I want my son to understand, like, bro, if you're somewhere with your homeboys and you're drinking, right, and you start feeling a little fucked up, like, you call me. I'm gonna come get your ass, right? Or you smoked, you feel a little crazy, you can't drive, you call me, bro. Like, call me. Don't be out here fucking, like, especially if we can finally really have that talk. And I know you've been a lying sack of shit. Then I could be like, listen, kid, I already know. I already beat your ass.
This is the hard part about this.
It's cool. Like, you know, like, it's not cool, but it's cool now because now you're going to smoke the weed in the garage. You're not going to bother me and your fucking mom. I'm going to put a little mini fridge out there so you and your buddies can snack. Your buddies ain't fucking leaving. If they're here when you go out there, they're spending the night, and that's it. Like, sorry about it. And no, they didn't get that.
This is why it's a tough one, okay? And this is why I wanted to have this portion of this conversation, was because for two reasons. One, my mom told me the same thing all growing up. If you guys are ever in trouble, because I had the same group of friends my whole life. If you guys are ever in trouble, you ever need anything, you guys are at a party drinking. She wasn't stupid, right? 16, 17, we're out drinking, having a party. Call me. I'll come pick you up. My mom never picked us up once, ever. Not because she didn't. It's just I didn't call her. I was having a conversation today earlier about the fear of disappointing your parents.
Mm-hmm.
And that plays into it, right? Like, I never called my mom, not because I didn't, like, I was just fearful of, like, letting her down. Now I got me and my 4 buddies who you know on a regular day basis, and you're about to see us all wasted. Nah, I'd rather save your little heart from that situation. We'll figure out how to get home. You know what I mean? So it's like, you can tell them that enough, but the fear of disappointing you probably stands over that. See, this is why parenting is hard, bro. This is why parenting is hard.
I would say
we think that we're giving them all the tools and allowing it to be okay for them to fuck up, but they still don't want to fuck up.
I want to say something, but I want to hear what Zero has to say. How would you feel, Zero, if you came home and you found, you know, a little dove sack of some dro in your son's pants while you're washing his clothes and shit?
Damn, it's hard because
that's a dove sack like, of the dro.
Bro, dove sack is some dro, some straight
some zigzags or backwoods.
Some stress.
First of all, fuck people that smoke backwoods, okay? Swish and sweets till the day I die. I don't smoke weed, but I'm just saying that's what I used to smoke.
I don't know. I'd be upset. I guess I see what you guys are coming from with that. I'd be upset that I was just in the dark. Like, damn, bro, what? Why don't you just chat with me about it? That's pretty whack. That is pretty whack. And then if they were hiding it to the point where they're like doing it and like they're doing stupid shit with it, like out and about, driving, stuff like that, that's probably what the first thing on my mind is. But it's so hard because I don't have that like gut feeling of it right now because I don't have kids. So I couldn't even tell you what my reaction would be. But just like feeling like, I'm trying to think. I have a little cousin who's who I grew up with, who's almost like a little sister to me. And in a sense, right? Like, obviously we're cousins. Anyway, there is some sort of protective feeling I have towards her from time to time. And if I found that in her, like in her, let's say like, I don't know, she dropped it or some shit, there would be like a disappointing, like, man, what the fuck? What are you doing? And then probably like a reflection moment of like, you're not, well, in this case, you're not my kid, but also I just want you to be safe about it. Like, don't be dumb.
And how old is your cousin? Cousin?
Now
cousin, right?
Yeah. Now she's, I want to say now she's like 21, 22. So yeah, she's older now, but yeah, I mean, I do still sometimes feel that of like, I don't know. It's evolved over time, but
the reflection thing is a huge thing though, because I've thought about it and I've talked to Tierra about it a lot. Like, I know that there's going to be a day when Peanut is 15 or 16, and I'm either going to catch him going out or into one of the windows at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I know it for a fact. And so I'm like, okay, what the fuck was I doing? You either got some fast ass girl waiting for you, or you're going to meet up with Gabe at the back fence and go smoke some weed. You know, like, what do you like? But there's just, and this goes back to the consequences thing, right? Like, there's just some things that have to happen because it's part of life, and you're going to learn one way or another. And if you're jumping out the window to go get some pussy or to go smoke a little blunt with your friends, and that's it, and you're going to jump right back to the window, I might be okay with that. Like, it's part of your childhood. Like, I don't want to keep my kid cooped up in his crib and not live a little bit. You know what I mean? I hope he doesn't do that kind of stuff. I hope Peanut is a square and doesn't have to do any of that stuff. But I know what it was like to be 16, 17 years old and do that kind of shit.
Yeah. And my thing is,
and the more you try and restrain from doing that, the more the kids want to do it. You know what I mean?
I was going to say, it's funny because, I'm sorry, Butch. Go ahead.
No, go.
Sorry, I was going to say, it's funny because
Corpse is mulling over in his head exactly what
like,
he wants to say.
Save, I know you jokingly called me a square. Like, I don't take offense. My mom, like, a lot of people assume squareness, but I definitely have snuck. I have stories of like sneaking out and shit like that.
Oh, I know you're not a square,
and
bro.
it makes me laugh because I'm like, I just don't tell these stories because I'm not here to like, oh, bro, I was doing so, because I never got caught. I mean, why the fuck am I going to tell anybody the stories in which there's like nothing ever really happened? I wouldn't stray outside the bounds of like, I was gone for days, you know what I mean? But my mom worked that night, and so I was home alone, and so I'm like, did I sneak out? Maybe. The world may never know.
Did I sneak some people in? Maybe.
That I never did. That I never did because
see, square.
Because because this is my thought process was like, if I can't know what you've moved or what you've done, my mom would be like, hey, why is this over here? And if I can't be like, oh, I was over there doing this, that, whatever, I'd just rather avoid all that bullshit. And I'm like,
you'd rather go move somebody else's shit in there.
Let them deal with that bullshit. Fuck all that. And I'm chilling. But yeah, anyway, sorry. I just thought it was funny because I'm like, people really do think I'm 100% square.
But what I'm saying is like, look how well you turned out. Sneaky shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the goal is to teach that there is consequence. Like, if you're gonna sneak out and go to some girl's house, okay, but how are you getting there? Like, no, we have to set up our children to know how they're gonna get there. Are they gonna be sober enough to get back? You know what I mean? Like shit, like that's what I want Peanut to know. Mm-hmm. Hey, I'm gonna sneak out of the house, and I need to make sure I'm good to get back in the house without Dad noticing. And you know what I mean? What time does Dad wake up? Just don't put yourself in a sticky situation. If you're going down the street to some girl's house at 1 o'clock in the morning,
it's a sticky one still.
It's a sticky one still, bruv.
Yeah.
What are you gonna say, Corpse? Let's hear it.
I think there's a level of disappointment, right? Where it's kind of like, I didn't want to disappoint my parents of hitting them up, blah, 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 blah. Right. And so I think there was a lot of times when I made sure that I was really squeaky planned out on what I was doing and how I was doing it. And if I couldn't get there on foot, or if I didn't have an escape route or something planned out, like I just wasn't down to go. And so I didn't. There was, especially when I was a lot younger and wasn't driving, um, there was a lot fewer things I was willing to go to. Because I just never wanted to have to make that call. As a parent though, I think I would be less disappointed in the whole like if one of the babies got all fucked up and didn't call me and got caught up. I think the thing that I would be most disappointed in is like, you really didn't think you could call me, fam? Like, you thought I would be so mad that the consequences of your actions would outweigh the I'm about to pull up on you actions. Like, no, I'm about to pull up on you, motherfucker. Like, I'm gonna get you home and then we're gonna deal with this later, right? But we're gonna get you in the bed. Shut up. Like, don't tell your mom. Like, we'll talk about this in the fucking morning. Okay, like, shut up. I'm gonna talk to her first.
Wait,
like,
hold on. Okay, let me ask you this, because I've like caught myself a couple times wanting to say "don't tell your mom" to Peanut, which I've never said it to him. Where do you think that stems from? The "don't tell your mom."
Because we are trying to look out for our kids in a manner that reminds us of our siblings or one of our best friends, where it's like, don't tell your mom, like, shh, don't tell your mom, like, you know, because I'm like, especially as dad, I might run interference for you first. I haven't ever had to do that with Elijah, but I know if I ever do, it's because I'm running interference for him first. I'm gonna talk to her first, and I'm gonna let her know what you did.
But why though? It's like,
I feel like
because the way I'm viewing it is like you're trying to protect your mother's heart.
I was about to say, you're almost like the goal in life is to never disappoint mom, bro. The moment mom is disappointed, I remember my mom said that once, bro, and I think my world ended, bro, right there. I don't even know if this is real right now. It was.
My mom called me a pussy, and I never got over it, bro.
Shit.
She called me a pussy to my face.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was bad.
I think my dad jokingly said that to me once, and he like hesitated because he was like, "Oh, you're my son. I don't say that shit to you." But it's because I was like, "Bro, I don't think I want to skydive. Fuck all of that." And he's like, "Pussy." But then he's,
yeah. I never told you the story about.
I don't think so.
My mom. I was like 16 and I was working at a liquor store for like under the table cash as a stock boy, but it was during summer. Yeah, and I wanted to go to a dance studio, or I wanted to go to a dance competition. So I was basically, my dad got me the job. I was trying to get my dad to tell the guy that I was gonna quit. I just wasn't gonna show up, and then have my dad be like, "Oh yeah, he's not gonna work for you anymore." And I told my mom that, and she called me a pussy. She told me I was a pussy to my face. I've never ever I've obviously forgiven her. I've just never forgotten that statement.
Etched in your heart.
Bro, it was the most hurtful thing my mother's ever said to me ever in my whole life.
Yeah. And I think there's fuck, I don't even know how I want to put this, right? Because it's almost right? Like, there's a certain level of distrust I will build with my children, if they try weed and they find out what I say is not true. Right? Like, you
didn't trust me?
Right? Okay, hold on, let's take, because this is weird, but this is good. To Cisco's point, this is the safe's point. I say sex causes unwanted pregnancies and causes diseases. And two young children who, two young adults.
Hold on. Wait. Not that type of podcast.
Two young adults go out and do some consensual things, and they come back, and neither one of them have a disease, and neither one of them are pregnant. They're going to look at me like a liar.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, and that was the best shit I've ever done.
Yeah,
there was a level of distrust that you build there subconsciously.
I don't think.
But that's why I'm saying you don't teach it as a consequence. It's an effect that can happen. This is something that can happen. You don't teach it as a consequence. You don't say, if you go have sex, you're gonna go get a disease or get pregnant. Like,
And then your life
like,
is ruined and you're fucked
Yeah.
for the rest of your life.
But do we say the same thing with drinking and smoking weed?
I think you can. I think it's
No, you just say these are some of the consequences that come with drinking or smoking and not doing the right thing. Like drinking and smoking at your house in the confinements of your own room or whatever the case. Okay, go ahead. Drinking and smoking and getting behind the wheel of a car, not okay. Now there are going to be consequences. You're either you're going to kill somebody, you're going to kill yourself, or you're going to go to jail. Those are the consequences. You see what I'm saying? Like, you have to add another action to it. Because if you have unprotected sex, then yes, you can get a disease. You can get somebody pregnant.
Yeah, see, I've never. I get it, right? I can see now more where those, I guess, type of conversations I might have in my own life. I just never had them that way, right? I was never, ever, and I've just never thought of ever teaching of any action without some kind of what are the consequence or results of that, right? Like whether it's working out, reading, right? Like people are like, oh, well, why do you read? Oh, well, fuck. Like, I enjoy the books. Like, it makes me smarter, keeps my mind sharp, keeps me in this, that, expands my vocabulary, blah, 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 blah. But just for the pure satisfaction of it, like, I was never taught to read just for the pure satisfaction of it. I was taught because it makes you smarter, right? Like, it's going to make you smart.
Yeah.
I was never taught to read just to read, I was taught sex is fucking AIDS. You get AIDS, boys, cooties.
I think though, like
Sex is fun.
you do need to. I think the problems that arise with like substance abuse or anything like that, it's not caused by the fear of that people put into people for like, don't do this because then your fucking life is gonna be ruined. I think there's such an extreme of that once they realize they take the hit or they have sex or they do whatever, and they're like, wait a minute, this shit is awesome. Because that other side is very like, oh, I'm invincible, bro. This shit doesn't happen to me. This shit happens to everybody else but me. And then you have fucking some, gonorrhea or whatever the fuck. Then you get hooked on some crazy shit because you went too far to the other side because you thought the bad was all like, just like, oh, that was just to scare me. That's not even like real to some degree. You might never say that, but you start to feel it because the highs were never like, oh, this shit feels awesome, bro. But you could have babies, you could get stuff. It is awesome. Trust is awesome, but do it responsibly, do it safely. Weed is awesome. You feel fucking great. But sometimes, like, you trip out a little too much. Sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm really losing myself right now, and I don't like how this feels. And then you're there for what feels like hours, and it could be 30 minutes, and that shit is scary. But sometimes it feels awesome.
Well, I try and tell my nephew that all the time because my nephew's like a handsome young man, and he's in high school and getting to that age, and there's like girls all over him on his TikToks and shit like that. So every time I see him, I'm like, I don't gotta beat these little girls off of you, right? And he knows I'm just playing, but I'm like, no, but seriously, like, if you're gonna be doing this dumb shit, like make sure you buy some condoms or something and be smart about your shit. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to end up like your dad.
Yeah. See, and to me, that's why, like, before, just, and again, we can always, I guess we could circle around the conversation like hawks, I think a healthy level of consequence teaching is necessary, right? I think especially with certain actions out there in life, because they're so permanent, right? Like, the consequence of it is so permanent, right? STDs, children. I mean, bro, like, I've smoked weed my whole life. I wouldn't recommend it to nobody. Don't start smoking weed. Like, don't start. Like, do not start. Like, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I've quit smoking nicotine. I've quit drinking. And it's been a fucking process, bro. Realizing the amount of emotions I have never truly learned how to process. Like, truly learned how to process these feelings. And so like don't ever become dependent on them, bro. Just don't. Like just don't. Like I don't know. It's been a weird turn chasing sobriety down, bro. Like I really start seeing some of like I see on some things where it's like I wish more consequences would have been taught on this and less, because kind of to one of Save's point earlier was like I realize it isn't that bad, and then now I want to go crazy. Like it's kind of like it makes me want to do it even more now because you said it was bad and I believed you for so long, you know, like it kind of sets that like manic in, and I don't want to breathe that into my son, you know.
Bring Kelly's comment big on the screen. It's so little right there.
Let him know. Oh, first off, Kelly Grigg, our senior correspondent, says let them know they have no control over what will happen. Each time is a new opportunity for a new potential outcome, and not all are good. In fact, quite a few are life-changing.
I disagree with this statement wholeheartedly. Only because of the first sentence. Let them know they have no control over what will happen. Yes, the fuck they do. Don't fuck. Like if you fuck, then you'll have no control over what will happen. Or what specifically was that message about? Maybe it doesn't even pertain to the sex comment.
Possibly.
Well,
they might be talking about like how the high feels, maybe.
Yeah,
like you don't necessarily you can't.
But you have the control over not smoking.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the trying it, like because when you try it, you don't know. Like just take one gummy, just do a couple puffs. You gotta like go to the deep end to be like, okay, 17 puffs is too much. Let me dial back. Maybe just do one or two.
I just like how Sage said, if you want control, just don't do it. And I could have swore last week that's what I was saying, and it was like, "Corpse, you're fucking crazy." And it's like, no, I just think the being best in control.
I didn't say you were crazy for it though. What I'm saying is, you were saying that the only option is you were saying that the only option is abstinence. That's what you were saying.
Best option. It's foolproof, baby.
It is the best option. I'm not disagreeing with it being the best option, nor would I ever disagree that it's the best option.
All I'll say is I came up with this, okay? Hopefully I say it smoothly. In my head, I'm thinking
500?
The best person the best person isn't the person who never picked up a sword. It's the guy who got cut a couple times learning how to use it. In my head, I feel like that's the best.
There's no way you just came up with
on the spot, baby. What do you mean? I'm just freshing it up like that.
There's a quote. There's a quote like that. There's a quote like that.
There probably is, but my fucking big ass brain just made that one up right now.
Kite flyer.
Come on, bro.
All right.
Oh, it's your dick, dude. You didn't make that up. Shut up.
Thanks, chatter on the side. Just letting you know. I appreciate you commenting. No, I'm just kidding. But Kelly did say sex, drugs. The chat is now moving. Holy shit. I'm talking about if you choose to do something. So she's talking about both sex and drugs, it looks like, regardless.
My dad always
I still think that's the wrong thing to say. Like, hey, bro, like you might smoke a little bit of weed and, you don't know what the outcome's going to be. That's such a scary thing to tell your kids.
Well, hey, it is very true though, right? Like, because I remember the first time I ever heard of cocaine.
Okay, I get what she's saying with that one.
And the first time I ever heard of cocaine, they were teaching us about the Len Bias story, and how Len Bias was that basketball player. He was a basketball player from the University of Maryland who was projected to be better than Michael Jordan. Got drafted first overall to the Boston Celtics. Went out and did a little cocaine and died that night. And from what everybody said, it was his first time ever trying something like that, and his heart busted. And I remember like that story stuck in my, and bro, I've partied a few times, whatever. But for the longest time, I didn't want to do anything like that because of that story, bro. I was like, whoa, just the one time? Like,
one time, dog.
One time? Like, really? Like, because everybody else out here talking about this is like, damn, they have a good time.
What up, Hub? How you doing, buddy?
Like, like, no, nowadays it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Shout out to Jake too. He said he got sober at 27, but related to you in that way of sobriety now and dealing with emotions. Shout out to Jake, buddy.
Shout out Jake. Thank you for being
Sobriety
here again.
sucks. No, I'm just
Fuck
playing. Shout out
you.
no, I'm just playing. Shout out to Jake. Good job, man. That's awesome. Anybody that can take control of their vices and stuff like that is huge. So,
Dude, just start running, okay? Instead of picking up the bottle, pick up some running shoes. Do that. It's fun. That's how
I mean,
that's how I deal with my. I'm not even saying I'm like trying to be like grandstand or anything. I don't know if that's maybe how it came off.
a little
I'm
bit.
sorry. I did not mean it that way. I'm saying like that's because I always try to make a mental note that I would never like do anything like that, even though I try to deal with my shit, and it's not always healthy, and I do lash out at people sometimes. I did it just through running. I mean, I don't do it all the time. Sometimes I will, and sometimes
I've never seen you lash out at anybody, bro.
well, yeah, I try not to do it in front of people. I've emotionally definitely like lashed out. I won't tell the whole story, but I almost broke up with my current girlfriend because of an emotional suppression.
Oh, you did tell me this story.
You know what I mean? Like it's not healthy. It's not okay. It's not okay that I just because I didn't.
I mean, you only told me this story if she knows that you told me this story.
We are men
She
in
knows, I
America.
think.
We bottle up and compartmentalize our emotions and explode on our loved ones.
Yeah.
That is the American
That's
way.
America. No, but
That is what we're doing around here on this
wasn't
podcast.
wasn't healthy. And the way I got over
It
my
is-
first big breakup was like running and stuff like that. I'm not saying that's the only way. I'm just saying. Anyway.
It is crazy because we do that. I've noticed that I do that so much without even like trying to do it that I don't even realize that I'm doing it.
That's
Like somebody will be like,
Compartmentalization.
yeah, like tell me what's really going on. Like what's really bothering you today? And I'm like, I'm good. Like I'm fucking good. And then at night I'm like, oh, what the fuck? Like what the fuck is going on with my life?
You're like here are the
I'm just so
17
used to
things that
being
are
like
wrong.
I'm good and not letting it affect me that I don't realize that it's affecting me until it affects me.
Yeah.
I think it's a part of our DNA, bro. And I know people hate when I say shit like that, but I really do. I think men over eons and eons of evolution, us being a part of a certain social standards and certain things, you right, like
Nah,
you
I have
gotta
look
learn how.
Look at Zero. Look at Zero, bro.
Yeah, I'm
Zero shares more than pretty much any friend I've ever had, as far as like what he's feeling, when he's feeling it, at the time that he's feeling it, all the time.
Oh,
He's
that's
my only friend that I've
Wait,
ever
what
had
do I
like
do?
that.
What?
I'm not talking about being ability to be able to share information.
No. I'm talking about his
ability.
feelings. I'm talking about Zero
then.
is
I mean,
Only-
even sharing your emotions is one thing, because I can share my emotions about all kinds of shit, but there is still this little tiny compartment way down deep down in there that I pack down the deep shit and I lock it away. Save, okay, so I can sit here and cry on this podcast if I want to, but my compartmentalization game is next fucking level, buddy. Okay, I'm telling y'all right now, and I think especially for our heritages and the cultures in which we've grown up in, yes, will we share our feelings and emotions more than our dads did? Sure, but even they had a level of compartmentalization that was way different, because my grandpa seen people get blown the fuck up. Like, you know what I mean? My brother has seen people get blown the fuck up.
that's
So it's
fucking
kind of
real
like
shit.
so it's kind of like, and dog, and then they're in your supermarket buying a head of fucking lettuce. And it's like, yo, like you.
Bro, when my
literally-
grandma died, when my dad's mom died, his favorite person in the whole fucking world, I literally got a phone call. I was sitting in the barber chair. I get a phone call. Hey, what's going on, Dad? Grandma died. Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm getting on a plane tomorrow. Okay, I'll talk to you later. I was
Damn.
like,
Jeez.
wait, what? Like,
He was telling you the weather, like
Yeah,
in the
like-
same tonality. Holy fuck.
hold on, your mom, you just found out your mom died. You know what? I was like, I gotta go, bro. Like, half a haircut. I put my hat back on. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, okay, make sure you take care of the house, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, bro, that is some next level shit.
Yeah, I try to. I've talked to Save a lot about like my dad and I's relationship. It's gotten a long way since like when I was a kid, but he's definitely like the type to like, why are we talking about this? We don't need to talk about this. This doesn't need to be revisited. You know what I mean? I've been in a car with him, like bawling my eyes out because I'm like, I just need this from you. And he's like, well, we don't need to revisit this. Like, it's done. And I'm like, okay. And I have to, I've talked to Save about stuff like that exactly. And you just got to be okay with it and, move on, I guess. But
some people can't give you what you want, bro.
Yeah,
some people
yeah.
just can't give you what you want.
And that was a big learning thing of like, you could make it so that it's the easiest for somebody to just like put it on the plate for you, what you need. And sometimes they just don't have, what you're asking for. And you have to be like, okay, and keep the line moving and
but you asked for it
and get what
so
you
know
can.
what I mean?
Yeah,
you weren't a closed mouth.
Yeah, and I think a lot with my current situation with my family, like I said, I don't know if I've gotten into it actually, but stuff, grandfather's getting older, grandmother's getting older. I've asked my dad, like, how are you doing? Are you okay? And it's always like, yeah, fine. And I try to be like, say what you got to say now. Obviously not to me, but to your dad, and like make sure that everything's on the table. Like, you don't want to be at his funeral, be like, I wish I could have said this, but also I'm coming from like my perspective of like, that's how I would feel. And he just might not feel like that. I don't know.
Yeah, but okay. So, here's two things when it comes to that type of shit. One, those are just people that realize that how life works. You know what I mean? Like, they're gonna die. They're gonna die, bro. But two, everybody is always going to say, "I wish I would have said this."
Yeah, you always wish you had a little bit more.
There's never a such thing as getting it all out onto the table.
Yeah. But I think
you're so rooted in emotion when you're sharing some things that you could forget something else, or you wind up talking about this and that, and then time is too short.
The real trick, I feel, is not even. It is once you actually no longer care to ask those questions. That's the real trick, and it's generally long after they're gone. And I found that I found that to be most true with myself was there was who my dad was and who we wanted him to be, and there was, why didn't he do this, or why didn't I do that, or da, 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 da. And after a while, I stopped even caring about why he didn't do what he did or whatever. And I just said, fuck, I just love what I got. Just
but
what I.
But to some people, that's a bad thing, though, bro. To some people, that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think for people like me and you who had dads like that, I'm okay. Bro, let me tell you like this. I have Juneteenth off. My dad has Juneteenth off for his morning job. So I was like, yo, you think you can take the day off and we could take the boys to the fair? He said yes. Bro,
nice.
What the like my bro? I haven't been to the fair with my dad since I was like 16 or 17.
Let's go.
This motherfucker won't take a day off for anybody. And I was like, will you take the day off? Like, you have because the morning company, like they switched companies for his morning job. Like some company bought them out. Mm-hmm. So he gets all these new days off, like new federal holidays. And he gets Juneteenth off. And I was like, I have that day off too. Like, can we go to the fucking fair? And he was like, yeah, I'll take the day off. I was like, holy shit.
Sick.
And I was like, all it took was for him to have grandchildren.
Yeah.
I've
heard fuck us, right?
I've heard grandchildren softens a lot of people up.
It does. I mean, I wouldn't say my dad is soft.
Well, not soft, but I just mean like reopens that part of like, oh, I can have these moments again. You know what I mean? At least that's what I've heard.
Again, we never had the moments in the first place. Dog. Like, what do we do?
Like, you could have a different experience, and now with my son's son, and like show him times that maybe I couldn't. I was too busy or too caught up in a different moment to provide.
Let me show my kids everything that they missed out on. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're the ultimate baby of the family. What is it? Isn't it the meme of like the firstborn gets all the whoopings and then the second or like last baby is like, baby, whatever you want. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Facts,
that's the grandchildren.
That's why Elijah gets away with anything. Elijah can get whatever he wants, bro. Not just because he's my firstborn, all that, but it's because like all you other ones get a very different version of me because like your oldest brother got it the worst out of all of you. So
all the
shut up.
turbulence.
Yeah, so he gets special treatment. He does, and and because the rest of them, I don't have to be as hard on them as I was Elijah. I mean, I have better techniques now. Refined. Yeah.
Yeah, I always think about that. Like, what would happen if I had another kid? And how would it be?
That'd be interesting.
But I mean, I didn't give a fuck with Peanut. I mean, not that I didn't give a fuck with Peanut. I wasn't like super careful with him or like, oh, like don't do that. I've never been like that with him. And I think I get that from my pops. It's like, just let him fucking do it. Like if he falls, what the fuck is gonna happen? He's gonna bust his ass and then get back up and go do something else.
Cry a little bit. It's okay.
Yeah, let him fucking just let him sit there and fucking cry, bro. Let him sit there and fucking cry. He'll stop crying eventually. Like he doesn't need us. Fuck the dependency shit. You know what I mean? He needs us for some shit to eat and wipe his ass, but now he doesn't. Now Peanut, get up, go brush your teeth, go get your clothes, go fucking put your waffle in the microwave or whatever the fuck you want to eat. Go pour yourself a bowl of cereal. Like you're old enough to do this shit now, bro. Go fucking do it.
Yeah.
7 years old is old enough to do some of your own shit.
Start paying your own taxes.
Paying bills.
For real. Bro, if I could put him on the fucking corner spinning signs and shit, I would.
Come on, bro. Let's go.
Nah, I want him to enjoy his childhood.
Yeah.
I want him to, like, that's the main thing is I want him to, like, he started this, like, I can't wait till I can do this, daddy. And I'm like,
oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen
it's full circle, bro.
Billy Madison? Have you ever seen Billy Madison with Adam Sandler? And he grabs that little boy and he's like, don't you ever say that? And the little boy's all fat and his like face is jiggling. Like that's how I feel with Peanut. Like I remember being fucking 14 and saying like I can't wait until I'm an adult and I can live on my own. And now I'm about to be 34 and I'm like, please, can I just go back to high school for a little while?
Yeah,
just a little while.
Yeah, bro. I'm on the same thing. I talk to my cousin about this so often. Of like, remember when we were like, oh, driving. Oh, I can't wait to like have a job and buy my own shit and like drive somewhere. Like that's so awesome. I love driving, but like paying for my own shit, I'm not a fan of. That shit is ass.
Yeah, but then you do something with adult money and then you're like, hell yeah.
Yeah, I just got some earbuds and I'm like, this is sick. Okay, all right, it's sick. But yeah, I agree.
Well, it's been real, boys.
It's been good.
Who's gonna close us out?
I guess.
I don't think we've had like DJ Zero in a while.
My throat is fucked
up. I think who closed us out last week?
I mean, we all close out, but I think Save started.
Started, right? Yeah.
I can start that way.
Well, that's been the Usual Tuesday podcast. The Usual Tuesday podcast is yours, Big Corpse, corpsecollection.com. You guys know the drill. Yes, I got some new designs coming out pretty soon. Yeah, you guys are going to be seeing that youth line and starting to build up.
Broskies, buy it.
Save one gaming, 0% macadamia nut. You guys know the drill. Like always, I always like to give a little verse. Yeah, to kick off. But I for this one in particular, it's a part of the prayer that I say every day, right? Where I ask to have the light of God's wisdom to be shown onto the shadows of my ignorance. And so, here recently, I hope that we continue to shine light onto each other. Yeah. And continue to grow and move forward. Yeah. corpsecollection.com. I hope everybody has a good day, week, month, your life. Till next time. Bang.
Listen, broskies. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate everybody for watching. It's been real, as always. Thank you, Save. Thank you, Corpse, as always, for being a part of this live stream, this journey, this podcast. Yeah, it's been nice. Thank you so much for anybody who is watching, who was here for a minute, an hour, a second, the whole thing, or maybe you're here live. I appreciate you nonetheless, as always. Down in the description below, you can find a link to the shorts that I just showed you. Use 0% for 15% off. Come on, bro. Damn. What are you talking about?
You got the link?
Always.
You got the link? Thank you guys for another beautiful episode of the Usual Tuesday podcast. I know we were off for like a month. This is our second episode back, so thank you guys for bearing with us. Thank you to Will for coming out, giving us an hour of his time to listen to his thoughts, and hopefully you guys will go shoot him a follow. I'm sure one of the guys has his link somewhere in their description, so make sure you guys check him out. Yeah, Corpse has some new designs coming out, and Zero and I were actually lucky enough to see some of them. Yeah, they're pretty dope. Maybe Corpse will be nice enough to let us buy some early before anybody else can get them, and we can wear them on the pod. But other than that, you guys make sure you follow the smoking section. Make sure you follow my gaming page. Make sure you follow 0% on TikTok.
Be safe, Hub. Thanks so much for joining me. I
And
appreciate you.
whatever the fuck else he's on, YouTube, fucking OnlyFans, wherever he's at, follow him. But as always, you guys stay healthy, stay happy. I love you. Keep smiling. We'll see you guys next week.
All right, boys.
Alrighty. Be safe.
All right, brother.
Peace.
You guys have a good night.
All right. It's just midnight, and something is lurking in the dark. You start to scream. You got me. This is a thriller. Hey, hey, thriller night. Bro, what's going on? Cannot see myself. I cannot see myself. I cannot see myself. Oh, actually, I don't know what's going on, actually. Hello. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Weird. Give me 2 seconds. Uh-oh. 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 Oh, I don't know what's happening. Okay. Oh, there we are. What the fuck? I don't know what just happened. Why am I? Oh, hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Wait. Does this make more sense? The post show. Yes. Oh my God. I don't know if I messed anything up. Resolution. You done goofed? I really did. I don't know exactly what's happening, actually. I think... Oop. Oh, did I get it? I think I did. I think I had a different setting for my camera. I think that's what messed it up. Possibly. I think we're back. We're back, boys.
Are you still streaming?
Yeah.
Oh.
Hi. I'm about to get off. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. You should use OBS virtual camera as your output. I'll have to